Up, y'all? Welcome back to Gridiron Talk Zone. We have a special guest. We have three, I guess you say, normal guests, normal co-hosts, me, Jude, and John. John's first college appearance. As you see, has the Texas Tech flag in the back, the home of an 0-2 football team. And then you have the Coca, Denver Broncos fan. Like me, he's a big Jim Thorpe guy.
No.
He's a fantasy football. He's a fantasy football guru and Denver Broncos historian. So there you go. That's his introduction. Then we have Jude and John and me. So we're doing a week one recap. We're going to be doing some other stuff too. My MVP ladder, Jude's top 3 players under pressure for week 2. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers' injury and do some overreaction or not statements. So we can get into it, starting with week 1's games. First game of the week was the Lions-Chiefs. The Lions ended up winning. What was your takeaway from this? We'll start with you, Jude. What was your takeaway from this game? Was it a big win, as big of a win as people say for the Lions with Kelsey and Chris Jones being out, or are the Lions just kind of still pretenders?
It's a big win for the Lions. The Lions have never – every year you come in – I wouldn't say every year, but some years they come in with a lot of expectation and they disappoint. So I'm very interested that they actually won a big game for once. That intrigues me a little bit. But if Kelsey and Jones are there, it's probably not a game. Honestly, the Chiefs probably roll. I still like the Lions. I have them winning the NFC North, but this one didn't impress me as much as most people, but I'm happy for the Lions.
Yeah, the Lions, they played really good. Hutchinson played really good, but they were lucky with the Chiefs drops, to be honest. The Chiefs had all those drops. Me and Jackson was screaming at the TV. Kadarius Toney had one of the worst games I've ever seen a receiver have, and that just really cost them the game, to be honest. And the Lions had a pick 6 off another drop pass, so kind of an asterisk next to it. The Lions offense only scored 14 points, which is less than the Bears scored. So the Bears scored more points than the Lions.
It's always about the Bears.
So I'm still high on the Bears, though. The Bears are going to have a really good season, but we'll get to them later. Jackson, John, any comments before we move on to the next game?
I just want to say, if Kadarius Toney catches even one of those passes, they win the game.
Yeah.
One of them was a pick 6. One of them was a pick 6 for the Lions.
I think it's more of a bad loss for the Chiefs than it is a big win, but it is a win for the Lions defense rather than their offense as much.
Yeah.
Fine for their defense, but they shouldn't have won that game.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next game. Panthers-Falcons. Bryce Young, honestly, at first glance, I thought he played all right outside of the picks, but looking at it, he was actually the worst graded quarterback by PFF with a 31.4 grade, and he had a rough week 1, but, first game, Falcons have a pretty good defense this year. So, overall, the Falcons took care of business. It looked like the Panthers were really competing in the first half, and then the Falcons' offensive weapons took over. Algier, Bijan. That was really the story of this game. I don't know what to ask. Do you think the Panthers are going to win like less than 5 games, guys?
I have them predicted as 4, so 4 to 5. And I don't think they would really mind it if they lost a lot of games because obviously they need talent. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world if they're bad.
Yeah, I think the Panthers. I think they're going to have an up and down year. I said this before the year. I think there's going to be games where they just suck offensively, and then some games where they go against a bad defense. Bryce Young really gets going, and they have big games.
But so the Falcons are like they're not a good they're okay. They're not
they
like
have
great.
improved a lot though. They have a really strong defensive front, and Jesse Bates already made 2 picks in his first game as a Falcon.
Or did it just look good against the Panthers? Because the Panthers stink.
I think it's the combination of both. The Panthers don't stink, but the Falcons.
We got a side bet going. I'm going to keep cutting you off, but we're going to have a side bet. We'll get to that later.
I mean, you're already going to owe me dinner when the Bears win the division. That was your bet. You're going to give me dinner if the Bears win the division. I'll take that bet.
That's not happening.
What did you say?
That's not happening.
Okay.
All right. Y'all have anything to say about the Panthers?
Well, rather than the Panthers, I'm more curious about the Falcons' passing game because I think they become a serious issue. If Desmond Ridder learns how to throw to people like Drake London.
Their
running game is incredible, and if that pass game is even a shimmer of hope of what it could be, then they're a serious issue.
Yeah, like they have just the playmakers. If Pitts gets to his full potential, Drake London, and then you have Bijan, you just have a three-headed monster. So you need Desmond Ridder to play really
They're
good.
so young too.
And the O-line's really good, so they have bright future.
Bengals, okay, my bad. I was gonna say one more thing about the Falcons. It's kind of tough, or rather tough, maybe sus, that you're only willing to throw 18 times with Desmond Ridder against the Panthers. Like that's a pretty tough look for Ridder. We'll obviously see, but that's not a good look just from a confidence standpoint from Arthur Smith. We can move on.
Yeah, well, to be fair, with the way LGL was playing, they didn't really need to throw the ball all the time to win.
Yeah, and with the lead,
they weren't leading the whole game though. I mean, it was close. I mean,
they just scored 14 fourth quarter points.
Yeah,
by 14. So anyway, we can move on. Browns Bengals. The Bengals sucked, but it was bad weather conditions. Me and Jude both picked the Browns, so it was predicted, but I didn't expect it to look this bad. Here's my takeaway: pretend you didn't have any information on any team's offseason, had no take on them going into the year. You wouldn't hate on the Bears as much as the Bengals. Like the Bengals, no one's talking about it, but all the Bears are doing is getting shredded whenever they scored 22 points, and like the Bengals sucked.
Okay, you want me to have a counter to that? Were the Bears in the AFC Championship or NFC Championship game last year?
No.
Or how about the year before? Were they in the Super Bowl?
No.
So the Bengals get the benefit of the doubt. Last year, the Bengals started slow, and they went 12-2 in their last 14 games. They get the benefit of the doubt. Terrible weather game. Burrow coming off an injury. What excuses the Bears have? This was the biggest Bears game in like a couple of years, like regular season game, like just for their fans. Like, how can you sit there and watch that game and like take away hope? Like, y'all had to have that game. I predicted y'all to lose, and it was worse than I thought. But yeah, because I don't think the Bears are good. You think they're a 10-win team? Like, okay, talk about the Bengals and the Browns, bro. Let's talk about the Bears. We'll talk about the Bears later.
About the Bears, because honestly, I think the Bengals. I think there's no concern. I think it's just week one. Yeah. Like I said, bad conditions. Burrow was out a lot of camp, so coming off an injury, not concerned about the Bengals at all. It says more about the Browns to me that they were able to come win this game that big in week one. So maybe the Browns are going to be better than my 8-9 prediction, which is something I said they could do. But to be honest, Watson didn't even play good, and they won by 21. So that was impressive. Any takes, John?
Just going back to Burrow, it's the first game off of an injury in camp and bad weather conditions. I think this is just a bait for overreaction. I think they'll be fine. Like, they started slow last year even.
Yeah.
All right, Jaguars, Colts. Anthony Richardson really made it look like the Colts were going to win the game after the third quarter, and then the Jags had two quick touchdowns in the fourth, and Richardson threw a bad pick that kind of put them away. But Trevor Lawrence played MVP football, like the MVP quarterback he's supposed to be this year. I mean, third highest PFF graded quarterback. Why are you laughing, Jackson? Behind Tua and Stafford.
Just giving away the MVP ladder. All right, keep going.
Well, I said PFF grade behind Tua.
All right, just keep going.
Yeah. Listen, Jude. But anyway, Lawrence balled. Calvin Ridley looked way better than I even thought. But yeah, I knew Ridley was going to have a good deal. Random shout out right here. Shout out to my man Sam Yacobozi. Told me Calvin Ridley is going to be a star this year and be a top 10 receiver, and he looked like that week one.
But
after not playing in a while. Okay, week one doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, bro.
We have to talk about it some, Jackson, because we're on a podcast for week one recap. Anyway, Jackson, do you want to say anything on this game?
I think the hype on Lawrence is still too much.
That's what Jude thinks. You guys are dumb.
Oh.
Whoa, that's harsh. I would never say such a thing about another soul.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Jaguars I think are still overrated, and I think the Colts have insane potential, but they're not going to make a splash this year.
Okay,
yeah. I mostly agree. Saying that Trevor Lawrence played MVP football, like, come on, dude. Like, he played the Colts and threw for 240 yards. It's not like Tua was the MVP. Okay, whatever. The Jags were supposed. The Jags were supposed to beat the Colts. All right, let's see Lawrence put it in a big game. Hey, look at the schedule. They play week 2. If he beats them, then okay, they play the Chiefs. They play the Chiefs too. Yep. So then we'll that'll give me more of a test. Like the Colts are just a warm-up game. I mean, they should beat the Colts. Everyone projected them to win. This isn't really big of a deal. I mean, Richardson looked better than I thought. That's pretty much the only takeaway. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
I think in general, Lawrence is gonna battle Burrow for the best quarterback not named Mahomes in football. We're gonna be talking about at the end of the year.
All right.
He showed that with his play last year, and starting off week 1, he showed that too. And John, can you stand with me on this Lawrence take that he's the top 5 quarterback, no doubt, and probably going to be a top 2 or 3 by the end of the year?
Say top 7, but
John,
going back to the game, I think this is a good look for the Colts. In a game where they were supposed to lose, and everyone had them losing, they fought for 3 quarters and made it a game with Anthony Richardson. I think they have a bright future.
Yeah, Richardson, I was telling Jude, like, if his biggest concern is accuracy, and he's already accurate in his first game, he's going to be an MVP-type player by next year. But, yeah.
Whoa, that's a hot take.
That's crazy.
That's a hot take.
I love Richardson. That's crazy.
Jude loves Richardson, too. We all love Richardson. But
let's win a game first, guys, before we throw out MVP conversations.
That's why I predicted. Did I say this year? Did I say next week? I said next year.
He doesn't have the options to go MVP yet.
Okay, Buccaneers, Vikings. Jude's beloved Tampa Bay Baker Mayfield-led Buccaneers. They're still not a very good team. I mean, the Vikings practically gave them this game with all the turnovers. But Baker played way better than I thought. Put up pretty good numbers. But actually, no, his numbers were not that good looking at it. I'm tripping. His PFF grade was good, but his numbers weren't good. Only 173 yards, 61% completion, 5.1 yards per attempt. But he didn't turn over the football, so that's nice to see. But yeah, it was more about the Vikings' turnover issues. I think the Vikings will clean it up and have a good game versus Philly this Thursday night.
John, you can go.
I think Baker did his thing. He made plays when he needed to. He didn't lose them the game. He led them to a victory.
Yeah. Obviously, Nick has this thing against the Bucs. Don't really know why.
It's nothing against them. They're just a bad team.
They have better players than the Bears.
Maybe a few on the defensive side, on the D-line and secondary, but not
They have a better receiving core.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
DJ Moore is way better than Mike Evans and Chris Godwin right now. And the number
I know, he was so good, he got 2 targets.
Way better is crazy.
The number 3 is Trey Palmer, and the tight end's Cade Otton. Cole Kmet.
I couldn't even tell you who the Bears' number 3 receiver is, like 2 or 3 receiver.
Yes, you could.
Or 2 is Mooney, and Mooney is not better than Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin has made like Pro Bowls. We're gonna stop. Yeah, and how did he look, Bears fan? How about you tell me that?
Yeah,
was he good? Yeah, all I was seeing on my Twitter was how Chase Claypool doesn't give a flying bleep about the Bears because he was sleepwalking through the entire game. And if he does that again, from what I've read, they should not, just from what I saw, he should not even fly home with the team after week 2. That was embarrassing.
Well, first off, NFL Twitter is not real.
I'm talking about me. If I'm the Bears and that happens again, you saw the plays, you watched the game, and I already knew you watched it back. Bad, he didn't care. You can have a bad game, but he was like sleepwalking. Right. He didn't block for anybody. Okay, the Bears. No, we didn't even talk about the Buck. I didn't even get to say my piece about the
okay.
Buck. You were just talking about the Bears. We're done talking about the Bears for a long time. The Bucks, if you listened to the predictions video, I should have picked them to win. They matched up well against the Vikings. This is not really that surprising of an outcome, but I think the offense might take some time just because it's a new offense, new everything, new quarterback, new coordinator, new running backs. And I think the Bears game is a good get-right game for them next week, quietly.
All right, on to the next one, Titans Saints. My guy, Derek Carr, moved the ball amazingly, 300 and something yards. First game as a Saint. But I will say he didn't play well in the red zone, which really gave the Titans a chance to win this game despite Tannehill throwing the ball to the other team 3 times. But neither team looked good, to be honest. So not much to take away from this game. Any takeaways for you guys?
Titans suck.
Yeah, the Saints receiving core is underrated.
I love it, man.
If the Tannehill has one more game like that, is he benched? Question mark. We'll talk about that later. Okay, we can move on.
Niners Steelers blowout. I thought the Steelers were gonna win, but they were just getting bullied up front, to be honest. So yeah, that was rough to see. But Pickett didn't look good. But open week 1. You know how I rock. Week 1.
Here we go.
Throw it out the window. Move on to the next week. Play the Browns.
So it works. So it works whenever it's your.
It works whenever it goes well, but then whenever it goes bad, it means nothing. Like, come on,
I've been going crazy over on week 1 right now.
You haven't yet because it hasn't. Because you predicted like nothing to go right. Like everything you predicted has gone wrong. So we can keep going.
Scoreboard. I had a better picks record than you, Jude.
Yeah, but let's talk about. Okay, how'd you think Kenny Pickett? How'd your boy Kenny Pickett do? He's a what is he, a top, what'd you say, 12?
Well, he's playing the best defense in football.
And he looked awful.
The best pass defense in football.
Who's the best pass defense in football?
I don't know, but 49ers aren't the best pass defense in football. They're the best run defense in football.
No one the best pass defense.
You have the Steelers winning like 11 games.
I have them going 10-7. That's a realistic prediction. What is 0-1 doesn't mean anything. They could go 16-1 for all I care.
Oh, God. All right, just throw it out. Yeah, we can move on.
Cardinals Commandos, worst game of the week, but it was actually competitive. Mainly due to the Commandos having a alien. I think the second quarter they fumbled near the end of halftime, trying to drop back and throw. And the Cardinals returned it for a touchdown. But ultimately, Commandos just didn't look good, and the Cardinals, I mean, can't say they looked good. They lost the game, but they didn't look good either. So just a battle of 2 teams that kind of underwhelmed. At least the Commanders underwhelmed. The Cardinals are expected to be bad. But any takes on this game, or can we move on?
Commanders have a talented wide receiver core, and they're not playing like it. And I think McLaurin's going to continue to get shut out by Surtain next year, even as of next week. Sorry, even with the Broncos fan, I guess that's biased, but I mean he shut out Devontae Adams. I think all they have is Jahan Dotson to perform, and I don't think he's gonna. So I think all their potential is going to go down the drain.
I think one thing we can take from this is the Cardinals aren't going to be as bad as we thought. Question mark?
I agree.
The defense surprised me.
If Kyler comes back in the NFC, tell me they're not winning 5 or 6 games.
They're not winning 5 or 6 games.
I said if Kyler comes back.
Even if Kyler comes back, they're winning like 3 or 4.
So what do you think the Commanders are doing?
Winning like 7 or 8.
But the Cardinals should have won.
What do you mean they should have won?
If they had anybody back there besides a pumpkin named Josh Dobbs, they would have won.
You were so mean, bro. You called me mean. You called Josh Dobbs a pumpkin, bro. Bro.
He wasn't even good at Tennessee, bro. All right, we can move on.
I need to cut that out. On to Texans-Ravens. Story of the game was Texans' defense actually looked pretty good. But the offense just couldn't get much going, and that was really the story of the game. You probably watched more of this game than me, Jude, so take it away.
Yeah, it was pretty predictable outcome. Stroud first game, head coach first game. But I liked what I saw from Stroud. He looked a lot better than I thought, looked more comfortable. I mean, that's a tough first test against the Ravens on the road, especially with the receiving core not being all the way, up to par as it needs to be. But shout out Will Anderson. He looked like a dog. Shout out Will Anderson. All right, the defense will the Texans are going to win as I predicted. I'm staying confident of that prediction. 6 or 7 games this year.
I agree. Texans 6 or 7 games sounds about right. On to the Bears, the Packers.
Here we go.
So the first half, pretty good first half, competitive. I'll just say second half, the Bears defense completely collapsed, and the offensive play calling was very suspect. The O-line didn't play too good in pass protection. Hadfield's under pressure a lot, and we didn't really improvise our play calling to work around that. And
when are we going to blame Fields?
And it just cost us the game. Fields actually played a pretty good game.
Come on.
Fields,
when are we going to blame Fields?
Fields was accurate, bro.
We keep saying
listen,
you sound like a Texans fan now. We keep saying Fields is going to be so good next year, and he's not performing.
Listen,
when are we gonna blame Fields?
79.4% adjusted completion. That's
I agree. Their O line is terrible. Eddie Jackson needs to.
He had a whopping QBR of 21 on a scale of 0 to 100. 21 was his QBR.
Well,
I agree. Play calling's bad. O line sucks. Eddie Jackson has to be better. The whole defense needs to be better. But Justin Fields needs to be better as well. And
Justin Fields needs to improve, but I saw improvements a little bit from last year.
He got dragged around by Jordan Love.
No, he played better than Jordan Love in the PFF.
Oh my gosh, bro!
Listen, you guys.
Here we go.
I watched the game.
He played better than Jordan Love. Jordan Love.
Wait, what was the main reason why you said he played better? Was it that PFF grade?
Well, that was one of the reasons. But anyway, Jordan
Who
Love.
was number 5 on the PFF grade? Who you said played not that good?
Baker, but his stats were also bad. It was just a random good PFF.
Oh, but now for Baker, it doesn't mean anything. But when Justin Fields throws
guys, can I talk?
Those bunch of garbage time numbers.
Jordan Love threw for 55% completion. Fields 64. So Fields was the more accurate quarterback. Fields made the more dynamic plays under pressure, especially with his legs.
Oh yeah, that time when he fumbled. That was a good play.
Oh wait! What about the interception? The horrible interception, just stared down and threw it right to him. Was it that one too?
Well, it was a bad interception, but it was also him trying to make a play when the team's down big. So that's an interception. I want my quarterback to make tough throws.
Oh God!
You're down big.
What? Okay, no. I mean, this is a genuine question. No, this is a genuine question. Fields needs to answer for some of this.
Yes.
You can say all you
Fields
want.
needs to improve, but Fields also wasn't the reason we lost the game.
Did Fields look like he's going to live up to your projection being a top 10 quarterback this season? Did he look like he's going to live up to that after week 1? There's no way you can tell me you thought he did look good enough.
I think I saw a lot of promise, yes.
So you taking him or Tua?
That'd be crazy.
I think Tua's.
I'm not even a Tua guy, bro.
Listen,
but
I think Tua is the better quarterback in a better situation, but I think Fields.
Yeah, that's fair.
Has ability to end the year better than Tua if he hits his full potential, which could.
The only way that Fields will ever be better than Tua is Tua gets hurt again.
But anyway, we can move on.
It's still close.
We can move on to the Raiders and the Broncos. I didn't watch much of this game. We'll go over to our leading Broncos analyst. What happened, bro?
Well, Broncos defense is still showing that they're pretty good with Devontae Adams being on lockdown all day. Jacoby Myers and Garoppolo looked like they played together at New England, which they didn't. They were crazy good. But we just need to score more. That's all there is to it. Sean Payton showed that Russell Wilson, he can make Russell Wilson a little bit more productive, but he slowed down the second half, and then they just went and got. And Lutz needs to put that ball through the uprights. The first extra point that has to go.
Lutz, man.
But even if we win that game, I'm still not pumped. But I think there's potential there. Russell needs to be better. Judy was also gone. Yeah. But I'm happy with the defensive performance. We just have to score more. Just like last year, I'd say we're falling into the same trap just as the Bears are. I think we're both falling into the same traps of last year. We're gonna just
You got anything to say, John?
No, I didn't really watch much of this game but from what the looks of it is, it's just a repeat of last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's tough. Hey, wait, I got one question before we move on. Did you like the onside kick?
First play.
It's shocking.
I like it.
Very close. It was very
close.
know.
I thought he had it, man.
It was so close. So, I can't say I don't like it. If you were to ask me before that game, I would say I don't like it, so I'm trying to be fair. But after I saw it, I like it.
Yeah, it set the tone.
So I'd say, yeah,
they just need Judy to get back, and their offense will. I feel like they'll be better. They just need Judy to get back. That'll help. The receiving core is pretty tough without him. So
yeah, and we lost Tim Patrick, so it's a tough look. And I think
the Bears will be. They're not the Broncos will be fine.
Garoppolo looked great as well. I think that should go unsaid. Garoppolo looked incredible. Not incredible.
I think it said more about the Raiders than the Broncos being bad. Yeah. I think the Raiders are just better than we thought.
When Devontae Adams is in the game, Raiders are going to actually look a little scarier than I think we expected. And I think, as I predicted before, I think Jacobs is going to be a lot less effective in this offense as well. And I'm not just saying
tough because I have him on fantasy.
It is tough. That's why I didn't pick him. I take Pollard over Jacobs. I don't think Jacobs is going to reciprocate the volume he did last year.
That's fair.
So I think we're going to see Garoppolo throw the ball more, and I think it's actually going to be better for the Raiders. But Jacobs will obviously still be effective. I'm not saying he's going to be like bad, obviously, but not the same year as last year, in my opinion.
All right, on to the Eagles-Patriots. I watched some of this game. You know the Bears playing at the same time, so I watched mainly the Bears. But anyway, the story was really the Eagles started off super fast. And Mac Jones, post-halftime, put together really 2 good drives, and he threw for a lot of yards. Had him throw the ball 54 times, though. Don't want to see him throwing that much. So anyway, Patriots competed with Philadelphia. Patriots, I think, show that they're going to be a pretty good team still this year, and the Eagles still going to be a powerhouse, in my opinion. John, take it away.
All right. Well, apart from the nightmarish start, I'm really happy with how we played. I'm not happy with the loss because we had chances down the stretch to score and win the game. But I was impressed with the O-line. 2 starters out. We still played well against one of the best defensive lines in the league. Obviously impressed with the defense, only giving up 1 touchdown, and that was in the first quarter. And Mac Jones showed me some stuff, made throws when he needed to. Even that last throw of the game was a perfect throw. He just couldn't get his foot in bounds. I was impressed, apart from the first quarter.
Yeah, I was impressed with Mac. I think this game went close. I don't know if you watched, John, but I actually had the Patriots winning. I just like the matchup coming off, tough Super Bowl loss. Usually teams week 1 kind of struggle, but I was honestly impressed with the Patriots. We'll got to see more from Mac because I wasn't his biggest fan coming in, but I was impressed with Mac.
All right, on to the shootout of the week. Chargers-Dolphins, back and forth game. Honestly, I saw more of the Eagles-Patriots than this game.
That's disappointing.
Well, I was watching the Bears-Packers, but anyway, looks like it was a really good game, and I saw a lot of the Tyreek Hill deep plays from Tua. It's just the story of the game was the Chargers couldn't cover Tua. He kept blowing by the secondary, getting big completions. Tua played a really good game. Herbert and the Chargers offense did a lot too, but in the end, it just came down to the Dolphins executing the fourth better than the Chargers did, so the Dolphins won the game. Any thoughts from you guys? Jackson?
I think Chargers' run game looks incredible, but I want to see more from their pass game against a subpar passing defense. That's the Dolphins. I think Herbert can do better. I think Keenan can do better. I think Quentin Williams can do better. I think the pass game from the Chargers, they could have won that game, and I don't think Tua and Tyreek keep up this kind of production. Tyreek's obviously incredible, but I don't think he can keep up that production.
Best receiver in the league.
More production, but I still think it. What was that?
Tyreek's the best receiver in the league.
Bro, Tyreek is the second best, and it's slotted. There's no way he's better than Jefferson. Like, you can make a case he's second, which he probably is second, but there's no way he's the best receiver in the league.
I just don't think he can.
I'll take him.
Waddle and Tua. I think Tua's not a good enough quarterback in my opinion.
I'll take Tyreek, man.
You rather have Tyreek Hill than Jefferson?
I respect that, but I disagree.
Mm-hmm. He's just more dangerous. Like,
that's true.
What?
That's true.
Dude.
If Tyreek gets hot,
really?
That's a bad day.
Like, Tyreek, his speed. Like, what do you do with Tyreek? Like, you play off. His route running is incredible. It's easy out route, easy pitch and catch. If you play up, he burns you every time. We saw that. I mean, J.C. Jackson. Well, I said in the Chargers prediction, I thought he was going to look better, but he looked worse. He got benched.
What Tyreek reminds me of?
Oh, here we go.
He's kind of a shorter Don Hudson, if you really think about it.
Who is that?
Is that the
That's
Raiders?
wild to say.
John.
I mean,
because Don Hudson was the Packers back in the 30s and 40s, just so fast.
Tyreek Hill wouldn't have been allowed to play back then, dog. Like, what are we talking about?
So fast, but
that was
really good route running. One of the best deep receivers of all time, one of the fastest receivers of all time. He was kind of a lot like how Tyreek is. But
I'll take Tyreek.
Let's compare it to Hill and Jefferson. No one cares about Hudson.
I'll take Tyreek over
Tyreek
the heck
is
you
more
just said.
than Jefferson, which causes you have to guard Tyreek Hill more than you have to guard Justin Jefferson, and that opens up more options. So
man, that's tough, dog. Don't do my boy A-Rod like that.
Anyway, okay. On to the next game. Rams Seahawks. I did not expect this to happen. Rams kind of blew out the Seahawks, especially in the second half. Seahawks were actually winning at halftime, 13-7. Then the Rams outscored them 23-0 in the second half and won 30-13. Stafford played amazing. The receivers stepped up. What's that guy's name? Tua,
yeah. Tua or something.
Hopefully he's on my fantasy team tomorrow morning.
Tua Outwell, both were top 5 in receiving yards this week. So they stepped up big time, and that's ultimately Stafford to them won them the game. And the Seahawks defense looked very suspect, especially you're going against. You expect to have a really good secondary. I get it's Devon Witherspoon. Did he play actually? Yeah, I don't
think he did.
I'll look. But anyway, you expect to have pretty good secondary. And versus receivers that some guys have never heard of, who stepped up and played well. Give them credit, but yeah, that's tough for the Seahawks defense to have that showing at home week 1. I expect them to rebound though next week. We'll see though. But
I've got a question. Do y'all think that a Cooper Kupp centric offense hurts this team after week 1?
No.
I don't think they performed as well as they did if Kupp's there. Kupp's not his fault, but I think
tough.
Centric offense, and I think now that he got injured, obviously it's sad that he got injured, but I think it's going to be better for the team that he got injured now that they know they can rely on those guys.
If you really
I think it's fair. That statement's fair. I don't know about it being.
If they couldn't guard Puka Nacua, you think they're guarding Cooper Kupp?
Yeah, but it's not that simple, bro. It's not like they're all just running man, and it's like they're running zone. There's different schemes. Like it's not just one-on-one lineup. Oh, can you guard a Kuhn? Like it's not.
I don't
think that. I don't think.
Whoa! What did this dude just say?
The dude that you just said, the receiver.
Oh. Okay, Nacua.
He did not say what you think he did.
No, Nacua.
Cooper Kupp. I think Cooper Kupp coming back will help this team, but I'm saying if he wasn't injured and not able to play the first week, I don't think we know that those guys can do what they do. Maybe the Rams do, but I doubt it. And I think now that they know that, they become a lot more dangerous of a team. And if Stafford keeps up that kind of production. But also, Geno Smith needs to play better.
We'll get into that more later.
All right.
We can move on.
Let's move on, bro. You got bad ears.
You need me to take it over?
Is that the Cowboys?
Cowboys. Okay. Giants disappointed me, bro. I thought they were going to win this. I thought that you take it over.
Giants had no chance of winning this game ever. Cowboys defense is too strong. Daniel Jones should be better, but I don't think they're ever going to win that game. I'm curious y'all's thoughts on Daniel Jones. I'm not high on Daniel Jones. I think Saquon needs to be better. And, I mean, receiver core is not great. I don't believe in Daniel Jones.
What do you think, John?
Be better?
Well, the Cowboys' defensive line just ate them alive. There was absolutely no chance for Daniel Jones or even Saquon. There was just pressure nearly every single snap. And I'm not high on Daniel Jones either. I think he's mid.
Yeah.
I just don't think there was a chance.
I don't think Daniel Jones is the type of quarterback that can obviously he can't overcome that. It was the complete opposite. You could just see it on Dayball's face. Like if they kept showing him, like in the first quarter and the second quarter, man, he looked like, bro, what did we sign him to a contract? Like this was bad. Like he looked bad.
That right O-line needs to be a lot better too. The right side of the O-line for the Giants was awful. But I think Barkley and Jones need to answer to some of that scrutiny, like Fields.
But anyway, I am the Daniel Jones guy here, and he had a bad week 1. The O-line was putrid. 31st ranked pass blocked by PFF. Only had.
Wait, I'm just curious. Who is 32nd? Like I'm just curious.
Steelers.
Okay, you can go.
Hint. That's why Pickett and Daniel Jones struggled. But I think those teams' O-lines will improve throughout the year, and I think that these two quarterbacks are going to end the season pretty strongly. But we'll see how it continues. But yeah, it was just a Cowboys domination over the Giants. I was feeling good after the first drive. Giants moving the ball. Then it all goes downhill. I think Jones was sacked or something, and the field goal was blocked and returned for a touchdown, and it just felt like it deflated the team. But anyway, on to a team that looked like they were going to be deflated, the New York Jets. Monday Night Football. We'll just kind of change this to our next. We'll move this into our next topic. Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles, out for the season. I was finishing up at work whenever this happened. I just saw he was injured, then went home and saw what happened. Yeah, that's tough. First drive of the season, it kind of felt like the Jets were going to just be depleted last night, and then they had a good second half, a lot due to Josh Allen giving them the football. Garrett Wilson made a fantastic touchdown catch, and then they returned the kick, the punt in overtime to win the game. So impressive way to rally for the team, but going forward, I think this takes them out of – well, I never had them in Super Bowl contention. I had them in playoff contention just because I don't think Rodgers was a good enough quarterback anyway to beat Mahomes or Burrow, even with the Jets roster. With that O-line, I don't think they had enough. So looking at it, I still think they can be a playoff team. I just don't think they're as big of a playoff threat with Zach Wilson under center instead of Aaron Rodgers. But I'm curious to see how Zach Wilson will do this year.
I'm curious to see how Tom Brady will do this year.
Speaking of Tom Brady, if the only quarterback
Jameis.
Jameis is still on the Saints.
He's better than Zach Wilson. They should pick up the phone and call. They should pick up the phone right now.
I don't think Jameis is better than Zach Wilson.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
But I think Zach Wilson's been there the entire offseason. There's no quarterback outside of Tom
You watched
Brady.
that game last night. You really
Listen. He didn't play that bad. He had
Did
a
you
couple
see
bad.
that first interception?
That was
the worst throw I've ever seen.
I think my high school quarterback had better than that.
He had a couple bad throws, but overall, he wasn't too bad.
Nick, talk about it without the stats. Let's not. I want to see what you thought about the game.
I said Zach Wilson wasn't too bad. He picked it up in the second half. Yes, his touchdown pass wasn't the greatest throw, but he overall made enough plays for them to win the game. And he has to improve for them to win a lot of games because they're not going to get that many turnovers their way. But anyway.
All Zach Wilson did last night was not completely lose them the game. He didn't do anything to win them the game.
With that defense and those weapons, he doesn't need to do too much to get this team 10
The
wins.
Jets are going to have a lot of L's, especially in the first 6 weeks. They might start 1-5.
I think it was like conservative play calling too.
We'll see,
but I would.
Going back to the quarterback, outside of Tom Brady, there's no quarterback I'd rather have.
No, not Tom Brady. God, no, not Tom Brady. God, no. We can keep going.
Well, Jude's a Tom Brady hater for some reason, but
I'm not.
Okay.
Why do you? I'm not.
All right, we need to move on to our next topic. Well, you guys can finish up.
Whoa, wait. I got one thing to say. I want to read y'all a text Nick sent me last night. He said,
"Bro, I was just trolling last night."
No. This isn't this. I don't think this is a troll.
Yeah, no, we gotta hear this.
All caps. Garrett Wilson. This was after the catch. Third best receiver in the NFL behind Jefferson and Hill. JETS. Garrett Wilson is a top 5 wide receiver coming tomorrow.
Send me the same thing.
So you didn't even bring that up. What are we gonna? Are we gonna talk about that?
We're gonna talk about Garrett Wilson in a minute, but Jackson's gonna take over. I'll be right back.
I want to tell y'all what Nick told me as well. So he says Garrett Wilson's gonna be number 3 by the end of the season, and he doesn't have AJ Brown in his top 6, which is just crazy.
That's insane.
They're on 6 right now.
All right, well, go away. Garrett Wilson top 3 is insane, especially with Wilson there now and Brees and Cook splitting reps. There's just no way. There's literally no way.
Yeah, I think the Jets
actually
they might
impossible.
stink.
It's impossible to be top 3 with Zach Wilson.
I agree.
Yeah, and Devontae, really? You're taking over Devontae and obviously not Hill or Jefferson? Come on, bro. It's not even a conversation.
It's not. It's outrageous. I said it immediately. I said that might be the craziest thing you've ever said. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Not even close. I think he struggles to get into the top 10. I think he sits around 11, 12, in my opinion.
He can be top 10.
Oh, he definitely can, but
honestly, if he has a good, better season than last year, if he improves, I think that kind of proves he is top 10 because Wilson is so bad. If he can just somehow look good with Wilson, then I think that boasts him, but obviously not top 5.
Yeah, he's in the Terry McLaurin range. Bad quarterback.
Yeah,
play.
for now, but he's young, so he will get better as he gets older. As he gets older, he will get better. But
I want to ask about the Bills real quick. I think the Bills were so just so awful And compared to what they could have been, especially with Cook there now, they go out, they make these options, and their options were awful. Besides Diggs, Diggs was like the only guy to get any sort of play.
Josh Allen.
Josh
Allen was so careless with the football.
Yeah.
He was just chucking it.
And he did not need to be.
Yeah. We didn't bring up my Super Bowl prediction. That's looking tough right now. But
anyway, we can move on. We're gonna do our overreaction or not statements.
Okay.
Starting with, so I'm gonna give a statement. We're gonna decide if it's an overreaction or not. First one, Rams to the playoffs. So if I said today the Rams are making the playoffs based off of what we saw week 1 and just projecting moving forward, John, I'll start with you. Overreaction or not an overreaction?
I think overreaction.
Okay.
On to you, Jude.
I'll say overreaction, but I won't be shocked if they make it.
I said it's not an overreaction.
Do you think the Rams are making the playoffs?
I think they have a very, very good chance. I expect them to make the playoffs now.
I think they match up really well with the Seahawks. They've kind of owned the Seahawks last couple of years.
I think this is a clear overreaction. I think just look at the roster talent. I trust the roster talent over how they played week 1, and they played bad week 1, and I trust that the roster talent – well, they played really good week 1, my bad. And the roster talent, though, shows that they're not a good team. So looking into the future, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But we'll move on to the next one. The next one is Ryan Tannehill benched by week 4. John, overreaction or no?
I say not an overreaction. I'm not a big Tannehill guy, and he just did not look good at all. If he makes that same performance again, I think it's not even a question.
Yeah,
agree. Not an overreaction. I think Tannehill's probably going to be benched by week 4 just because looking how, they have 2 young quarterbacks behind him. I really have to look at who they're playing because that's a big deal, but I believe they have a tough matchup this week. But what do you think, Jude?
I think it's an overreaction. I think obviously it's super tough week 1, but you also have to look at who's behind him. I mean, Willis hasn't shown anything. And the Titans, in their minds, which I predicted, and I still don't think is a bad take after week 1, they think they can win this division. So they're going to stick with Tannehill. They're going to ride it out as long as they can until they are eliminated from the playoffs. So I definitely don't think he's going to get benched unless he plays that bad again. But looking at their schedule coming up, next week they play the Chargers, and we saw how Tua looked against the Chargers. So the passing rush for the Chargers is very susceptible to big plays. So I think Tannehill could have a nice bounce back. And then the Vikings after that. So, and then the Raiders. So I think it's an overreaction.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely I definitely think it's a big overreaction because Malik Willis and Will Levis are not going to take over, especially with someone young like Treylon Burks there. They're gonna want a veteran like Tannehill throwing the ball. 100%. So yeah, I agree. All right, next one is Tua is a top 10 QB. John, you go.
I think not an overreaction. Just based on what he did when he was last year healthy and what he just did, I think he can. He obviously won't put up that many yards again, but I think he can replicate it to an extent to where he can be top 10.
All right, Tua Tagovailoa, top 10 quarterback.
Slight
overreaction. I had to pull out the quarterback rankings list for this. Okay, so here's the 10. Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Lawrence, Hurts, Herbert, no doubt. Those are clear 6. Cousins, I'd say no doubt. Then I think you're looking at 3 guys you can debate. Geno Smith, Derek Carr, and Lamar Jackson. I think those would be 8, 9, and 10. And then
here we go.
It was just crazy to hear Derek Carr right then.
Crazy.
It was crazy to hear Geno and Kirk with Lamar, bro.
Carr is a good quarterback. Carr is going to guide the Saints to the playoffs. They're going to win the division. Carr is a bigger, stronger quarterback than Tua, who's a very.
And so is every other quarterback in the NFL, but you're not saying that about them.
Well, okay, Tua doesn't have the deep ball Carr does. He has the deep accuracy, but Carr has a way better arm.
I'm not even saying Tua's top 10. I'm just Carr is not a top 10 quarterback, bro.
Tua top 10 is overreaction because I have him at 11. What do you think, John?
John already just gave his piece.
Oh,
I think it's an overreaction, but. Yeah, who are you going to take him over? I mean, Nick kind of just read it out. Mahomes, You can say Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, Burrow, Josh Allen. Are we including Rodgers?
No, I'm not including Rodgers.
Okay. I'll take Dak over Tua. I'll take Herbert over Tua. I'll take Lamar over Tua. That's 10 right there. So I think it's an overreaction.
All right, on to the next one. Anthony Richardson, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Overreaction or not? So do you think he's winning Offensive Rookie of the Year?
I don't know if he'll win it, but he's definitely in contention now, more than I expected him.
Yeah, so. I still think you have to look at Bijan. I'm still high on Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think those are the guys you have to look at. So I'd say Richardson's a good candidate, but I'd say this is an overreaction.
I disagree. I think it's Bijan or Anthony Richardson are going to take it, and I think with Tyler Algier playing at the level he is, I think it's going to take away from Bijan's reps, and I think Anthony Richardson looked incredible. I don't think it's an overreaction. I think Anthony Richardson.
We lost John. Okay.
All right. I think it's an overreaction.
What did you say on Tua?
I didn't really have a take. I would say it's not an overreaction. I'd say it's top 10.
Okay, so you take him over Carr?
100%.
What? That's not a bad take, bro.
I think it's an argument with Geno and Tua.
Anyway,
Yeah.
John's back here. What did you say on Richardson, John?
I said he's like top 3.
So you say overreaction though, because you don't think he's going to win it? Or do you think he'll win it?
I guess.
Okay. We can go on to the next one. A lot of people's beloved Dallas Cowboys, NFC favorites, ? I'm going to say overreaction because the Niners and the Eagles are still there. And, I mean, yes, the Cowboys look better than Seattle week 1, so I could see them over Seattle, but you can debate that. Anyway, Niners and Eagles are still the big dogs in the NFC, so I'm going to say overreaction.
I agree. Overreaction.
Okay,
John, what
John.
do you think?
I say not an overreaction, based on my prediction and the fact that Dak didn't even have to play that well last week, and they still won by 40. They have a solid receiving core, Tony Pollard, and that obviously one of the best defenses in the league. I think they are a powerhouse that people need to be less biased about.
Okay.
I agree. I agree, John. I think I don't really know where you're getting this. Oh, the Cowboys are everyone's favorite. Everyone hates on the Cowboys. Why do you keep saying that? The Cowboys, I don't think it's an overreaction.
I'm high on them, and I think that the quarterback.
Like who? Like you're gonna see obviously you're gonna see the Cowboys because they're the big name, but not many people are that high on them because they don't trust them. But yeah, I don't think it's an overreaction.
All right, on to the last statement. Garrett Wilson, top 5 wide receiver at the end of the season. Not an overreaction. As of right now, I would say he is the 7th best receiver in football. I'm not counting Cooper
Where did
Kupp.
you get this statement from? He didn't play like a top 5 receiver, so why would anybody overreact and say he's a top 5 receiver?
Because
you're just making things up.
This is just your take.
Because of the crazy catch he had.
That does not make him a top 5
Okay,
receiver.
listen. You just know the offseason hype, the smoothness, the routes, the quickness, the boost, everything about his game, the hops, the route running. I see a lot of Justin Jefferson in his game, not quite to the extent or the takeover mentality of Jefferson, but I think it's pretty good player. So I think he's the 7th best receiver right now. I think by the end of the year he'll be better than AJ Brown, Stephon Diggs, and he'll be in that debate.
Oh God, here he goes.
So I think
here he goes, man.
2 Hill. I think 3 you're gonna have a debate between Adams, Chase, and Garrett Wilson, and then Diggs and AJ Brown 6 and 7.
I think the better question is Olave over Garrett Wilson. Is that an overreaction? And I don't think it is. I think Olave is going to be better than Garrett Wilson by the end of the year.
Olave, fairly good player, but he I don't think he's the high
I think
end
it is a hot take right now, and it's not a popular take, but it's
Wait, did you say Cup or no?
No, I was counting Cup.
Why not?
I mean, just because he was injured right now, and I think he's not going to end the year better than Wilson.
He will.
Why?
He will.
Well, 1, he's going to miss a lot of games. 2, I think Wilson's just going to have a very
missing 4. Was Zach Wilson really?
He could miss more than 4 games.
He had 1 catch. Like he's obviously a great young receiver, but stop. He's not in this range. No overreaction.
John.
Overreaction, easily.
Not tripping.
It's not even a reaction, though. There's no, you don't
Who thinks that?
It's just your take of reaction.
It's just a hot take. It's not a reaction.
Okay, shut up.
Nick has that catch replaying in his head over and over again. Jackson, we love you.
What?
I said, Jackson, we love you.
Yeah, we love you, Jackson.
I'm never coming back.
On to the MVP ladder. Keep in mind, just after week 1, not based on anything else besides week 1. Number 1, Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill was the most valuable player in football this weekend. 215 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, I think 19.5 yards per reception, 11 catches. He completely took over the game and won them the game. Chargers secondary had no answers, multiple deep catches, had a 47-yard catch and another long catch. Just outstanding game. Anyone disagree with this?
I disagree.
Who was more valuable than Tyreek Hill on the field this weekend?
Packers coach LaFleur. He played incredible.
I think this is.
That was some of the most impressive play calling I've seen in a while.
What do you think?
I think Tyreek is fair to say.
Okay, and then Stafford too, just because 5 big time throws charted per PFF, over 300 yards, put up 30 points on the Seahawks without Cooper Kupp, a game that they weren't expected to do this much damage in, and they came out and won in Seattle by 17. Stafford at 2, and Tua, guy who was throwing to Hill, had a very efficient day throwing. I have him at 3. This is, again, I don't think any 3 of these guys will be in the top 3 at the end of the year, just based off of week 1, what I have. So that's that. Now we can move on to the last part of the show. Jude is going to do his 3 players under the most pressure in the NFL this week.
Week 2?
Week 2. So who are the 3 most players under pressure this week?
All right. I'll say 1, 2, 3, but it's not really a ranking. They're all just equally under pressure. My first guy is Geno. I think Geno, obviously, he didn't look good, but people kind of have this narrative that he's been a lot better than he actually is. If we look at the stats, okay, last season he was 7-5. His record was 7-5, 8 yards per pass, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. And then his last 7 games, that was his first 12. And his last 7, he's 2-5, 6 yards per pass, 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, passer rating 85. Geno's kind of turning back into the guy that people kind of thought he was going to be. So I think Geno needs to step it up this week in a big game. Okay, there's a lot of noise in the background, guys. What's going on, man?
Anyway,
What?
Anyway, Geno, I understand he's under pressure this week. Who did the Seahawks play half again?
The Lions.
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to be a big offensive shootout, and I honestly think the Seahawks are going to go win this game, but we'll save that for picks tomorrow. I think Geno's going to have a bounce-back week. Against a secondary that's still going to have to get things going, new secondary. Although they have a pretty good secondary, should be improving weekly, but I think the Seahawks have the talent to go have a big week, and Geno will lead that. So who do you have at the next 2 players?
All right, I know I said players on this, but this can also involve coaches. Sorry, Jackson, I'm putting your boy Sean Payton on this list. In the offseason, he was saying that this is the worst coach team ever, and he was a lot of crap about Matt Hackett in the offseason, which obviously he wasn't a good coach. But people, if you watch that game, like John said, it looked very similar to last season. So I don't know. The onside kick was fun, but I think the Broncos didn't look much different. And Russ looked fine, but I don't know. I think Sean Payton has something to prove going into week 2, because week 1 was a tough loss. They needed that win.
I agree, but I would probably say Wilson's under more pressure than Sean Payton.
Because we know Payton's a Hall of Fame coach. We think Wilson's a Hall of Fame quarterback, but now he's went to Denver and hasn't looked good at all. So
we know Payton's Hall of Fame? I guess. I don't know. That's
whatever Nick says.
Okay, who's the last player?
All right, the last player, Nick, it's Justin Fields.
Okay, I agree. He's under
5-21 as a starter. His throwing numbers last year were awful, and there was a lot of hype, not just from you, but from national media people in the offseason for no reason at all. I mean, no other reason other than DJ Moore being there, and he only got 2 targets. So I think Justin Fields is one of the players under the most pressure this week.
Okay.
I disagree. Anyway. I think Justin Fields sucks, and he's going to keep sucking, so I don't think he's under any pressure.
I think he's under pressure because if he doesn't step up, they might move on.
Okay, I think Fields has a lot of pressure on him, and he's playing a tough defense. We'll see if he can step up. But anyway, that's the podcast, guys. Thank you for you all who tuned in. I know I was a little off today. Jackson was making me laugh a lot. I lack professionalism.
Do you need me to step in here?
Yep.
Anyway,
you okay?
Podcast. I think we may have had too much fun. Jude, wrap it up.
Have fun, guys.
All right. It's tough. You're down bad when you're giggling so much and your team got mollywopped. But yeah, we can end the podcast. Appreciate guys that tune in. We'll see y'all tomorrow for the game picks.
Fun pod, and thank you, Jackson, for tuning in and for me. We'll see you tomorrow with the game picks.
Thank you, friends.